Okay, here's a wild thought. What if the best way to get more control over your company's cash flow was actually to give some of it away? I know, it sounds totally backwards, right? A paradox, but that's exactly what we're going to dig into today. We're talking about how outsourcing your accounts receivable isn't the risk you think it is. It's actually a huge strategic advantage. So let's break down how it all works. Right, and this is the big one, isn't it? The question that stops pretty much everyone in their tracks. The idea of handing over your customer collections. I mean, that's the last, most critical step in your entire cash flow cycle. To somebody else? Yeah, that feels like a massive leap of faith. And look, that fear of losing control, of damaging those customer relationships you've worked so hard to build, it's totally valid. But the real question is, does it have to be that way? Okay, so this is where we really flip the script. On one side, you've got all those common fears, right? The myths. You're worried about losing oversight, maybe alienating your customers, or, just working with a partner who doesn't get your goals. But the reality? When you do this the right way, it's literally the opposite. Instead of losing oversight, you actually get real-time visibility. Instead of damaging relationships, you bring in professional engagement. And instead of misaligned goals, you get standardized policies. It's a fundamental shift in how you need to think about this. So the big question is, how do we get to that reality? Well, it all starts with changing how you see the relationship itself. The key here, and this is super important, is to stop thinking about it as just outsourcing. You've got to start thinking about it as building a strategic partnership. See, your partner isn't there to replace your team. They're there to be an extension of it. And this quote right here, it just nails it. A successful partner isn't some random vendor you hire. They are, and I'll say it again, an extension of your internal finance team. Think about it. When they adopt your goals, your voice, your standards, that's where real control comes from. That's the foundation. And look, this isn't just some abstract theory. It's all built on a really concrete framework. First up, you lay down the law with clear service level agreements, your SLAs. Then you document everything. We're talking collection policies, the exact scripts they're going to use. Next, you set up crystal clear paths for when and how issues get escalated back to your team. And finally, and this one is critical, you align on your brand voice and values. They have to sound and act exactly like you.
All right, so you've set all the rules, but how do you actually enforce them? How do you stay in the driver's seat? Well, this is where two things come into play, and they're a powerful combo: technology and governance. Think of it this way: technology gives you the eyes to see everything, and governance makes sure you have the final say.
This point is so important. There's this myth that once you outsource AR, it all just goes into a black box, and you have no idea what's happening. But with modern outsourcing, it's the complete opposite. You're not losing visibility. In fact, you're getting a major upgrade. So how does that happen? It's all about shared dashboards and real-time reporting. You can literally monitor every single key metric you care about instantly. Things like your days sales outstanding, your collection recovery rates. You can see detailed aging reports. You know exactly who owes what and for how long. You can even track how fast disputes are getting turned around. Honestly, this level of data gives you way more insight and better forecasting than most overworked internal teams can ever pull off. But listen, all that visibility is great, but it's totally useless without power, right? And this is the absolute non-negotiable part of this whole model. All the data in the world doesn't mean a thing if you can't act on it. At the end of the day, you always keep the final say. And here's how that perfect division of labor looks. Your partner, they handle the execution, all the day-to-day operational stuff, the calls, handling disputes, all that grind. But you keep all the strategic authority. You're the one setting the credit policies. You're the one making the final decision on write-offs. You set the approval limits. It's like they operate the machine, but you're the one who designed it, and you've always got the keys in your pocket.
Okay, so I think we've pretty much busted the myth about losing control. But this whole thing isn't just about avoiding a bad outcome, it's about gaining some seriously powerful, positive ones. A real strategic partnership brings new capabilities to your company that go way beyond just collecting cash.
First and foremost, of course, is healthier cash flow. I mean, that's the main goal, right? These collection specialists are just way more efficient, and all that efficiency goes straight to your bottom line. Simple as that.
Next up, you're reducing your compliance risk. Let's be honest, collection laws can be a total minefield of complexity. Having a specialized partner who lives and breathes that stuff, they navigate it all for you. And that dramatically lowers your risk of any legal or reputational headaches.
And here's where we come full circle. With all that better data, the standardized processes, the clear governance, you don't just not lose control. You actually gain stronger, more solid financial control over one of the most critical assets your company has.
Now, this one might actually surprise you, but it is so vital. We're talking about an improved customer experience. Trained professionals know that magic balance of being firm but also respectful. They resolve issues faster, they communicate more clearly, and that can actually lead to a much better, more professional experience for your customers, even when the conversation is a tough one.
So, if we were to boil it all down, what is strategic outsourcing? It's this. You're delegating the operational execution, but you are never, ever surrendering your strategic authority. It's about freeing up your internal team to focus on the high-level stuff that really matters, not about replacing them.
And that really leaves us with one final thought to chew on. The whole conversation around this needs to shift. It's not about will I lose control anymore. The real question is, how will I command all these new capabilities? How are you going to strategically use the new expertise, the new tech, and the new efficiency that's suddenly at your fingertips? Because that is how you turn what feels like a risk into a massive strategic advantage.